So we have already covered so far the timings of Salah. Only thing which is remaining is the disliked or the timings you should not pray Salah in. There are 5 points. I'm going to tell you 5 points you need to remember. Okay. There is a hadith in Sahih Muslim which says Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ثلاث ساعات كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ينهانا أن نصلي فيهن وأن نقبر فيهن موتانا. There are 3 times in which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to prohibit us from praying in it and to bury our dead in that time. So the number 1 is from sunrise in the morning, when the sun rises, until it has fully risen. In our terms we will say you wait 10-12 minutes. That moment as it rises and a little bit after it, let's say 10-12 minutes, some people say 15 minutes, but that time, this time straight after sunrise until it has fully clearly risen. And the second time, that's the first time, that's number 1. There's 3 in this hadith. Number 2 is when the shadow stops during midday until zawal. So the sun goes up the horizon and it stays at one point, and then it starts the downwards journey from the person looking from the earth. So that point when the sun stops until it starts moving again, that's short period of time, it's few minutes, is that time. This will be number 2, point number 2. So 1 was sunrise, straight after that, and midpoint of the sun, and then going down. That'd be the second point. Third thing, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said when it is setting. So if you imagine sun rising in the morning and the little bit time until it rises fully, so when it's about to set, the same time when it's about to set until it is fully set. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the 3 times Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prohibited the person should pray in it, or if the person or bury the dead in that time. حين تطلع الشمس بازغة حتى ترتفع وحين يقوم قائم الظهيرة حتى تميل الشمس وحين تضيف الشمس للغروب حتى تغرب. That's the wording of hadith in Muslim. That these are the 3 times. So these will be referred to as 1, 2 and 3. Okay? These 3 times are the disliked. We will discuss that a bit later. Either disliked or prohibited times to pray, with the exceptions which will come ahead. Number 4 and number 5. So the first 3 times, no praying, no burying the dead. Second, number 4 and number 5, these are 2 times where you cannot pray, but you can bury the dead. What are these times? These are times mentioned in Bukhari and Muslim in hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He says, سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لا صلاة بعد الصبح حتى تطلع الشمس ولا صلاة بعد العصر حتى تغيب الشمس. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, point number 4 will be, after praying Asr Salah. Now, we prayed Asr right now. Whenever you pray Asr, from that point until the sunset, you may not pray Salah, but exceptions will cover later. You may not pray Salah, but you can bury the dead. Remember, the last portion of that from praying Salah till Maghrib will be the prohibited time, which is number 3. Right? But number 4 is referred to when you have prayed Asr until Maghrib time. Number 5 is after Fajr. Whenever you have prayed your Fajr until the sun rises. Meaning sun rises and that includes point number 1 until it has risen enough. All that time. So from your praying Fajr until the sunrise, not talking about point number 1, but until the sunrise, that prohibited time. If you discount that, no praying, no burying the dead at that time. But before that, from praying Fajr until that moment, you may bury the dead, but you should not pray Salah. This is from Hadith. The wordings of Hadith are very clear, but the issue is much greater. And we will try to cover some of the points. Now, point number 1, 2, and 3. Everyone is clear what I mean when I say 1, 2, and 3. Point number 1, 2, and 3. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Ahnaf, they say it is makruh tahrimi. Completely prohibited to pray in that time. No salah whatsoever, except some Ahnaf, they say janazah an exception. But in general, praying salah, they say is prohibited, but janazah. You know why? Because Ahnaf don't count janazah as salah. They say janazah is dua. Janazah is not salah, is dua. That's why some people have trouble. Why do Ahnaf don't read Fatiha in Salatul Janazah? They don't read Fatiha. If they don't read Fatiha, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said there is no salah without Fatiha. But the Ahnaf say is dua, is not salah. Because salah comes in the meaning of dua. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Al malaika yusalluna ala nabi. So salatu ala al mayyit. When it's ala is dua. Understand? I covered that before. Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillah. When it's with lillah is ibadah. When it's ala, it is dua. This anyway, we covered that earlier. So the 1, 2, and 3. Ahnaf, they say it is makruh tahrimi. You will be sinful for praying in that time. No prayer whatsoever. With no exceptions in that. No exceptions. Later on, maybe I will cover that they say that if you haven't prayed Asr, let's say you haven't prayed Asr, and the makruh time has started, the fard salah for the Asr may be prayed in that time, before the Maghrib start, but that's for inshallah at some other day. Now number 4 and number 5. What were number 4 and number 5? You remember them? Yeah? Number 4 is once you have prayed your Asr until the Maghrib. Or number 5, once you prayed your Fajr, Fard Salah until the sunrise. You may pray, Ahnaf say, you may pray Qada Salah. You may pray Qada Fard Salah. No, nothing else. Why they say that? Because let's say you can, if I hadn't prayed my Asr, I could pray Asr until the end of that time. Meaning Fard can be prayed in that time. So if you have Fard remaining, so that Fard is like a Fard. They say you can pray Fard but nothing else. No Tahiyatul Masjid, no Tahiyatul Wudu, no 2 rakat of Tawaf, no Salah for Nadhr. If someone had vowed that he's going to pray some Salah, none of the Nawafil and whatsoever. Except the Qadha of Fard, they have exception. This is which madhab's view? Ahnaf. This Ahnaf view. Malikis, they say number 1, 2, and 3. Ahnaf said you pray nothing in that time, right? Maliki says you may not pray nafil salah in that time, but you may pray your fard in that time. Faraid, that time, even though the prohibition in the hadith earlier is not for faraid, is for nawafil. In number 4 and number 5, remember number 4, number 5, once you prayed your Asr and Fajr, they say it is disliked to pray nafil. Disliked. It's not like you you better not pray it. You don't do nawafil at that time. But the Ahnaf, they take it very seriously, and but Malikis, they are easier on that. They say they have their proof because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam have prayed, which will come earlier on. And when I explain inshallah Shafi madhab, it will make more sense. And they say doing janazah is recommended. Janazah in those time 4 and 5 or any time, because they say janazah should be hurried, should be quickly. You should not be waiting around because of other hadith encouraging janazah to be quick. Now when you come into masjid, you find Hanafi masjid, and someone comes and he starts some salah in certain time, everyone is looking, they want to eat him with their eyes, is because we must appreciate, inshallah when we bring the hadith in a minute, you will appreciate, when we say something is a fiqhi issue, whenever you hear the word fiqhi issue, meaning they are open to interpretation. If it's aqidah issue, there is no, if someone says fiqhi issue, that means there is possibility of interpretation.